What up? This is Coach Franklin, and you are watching the Chris Gunther Show.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Chris Gunther Show. Thank y'all so much for watching. Remember to like and share this video. I would greatly appreciate it. Anybody that's followed me since 2019, 2020, you know this woman right here. I've always called her the Beyonce of coaching. Without any further ado, the Chris Gunther Show welcomes the GOAT, Coach Tanisha Franklin. What's going on with you?
Not much. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me.
I'm going to get this out the way. Give me love. Give me love.
Always a pleasure. Always.
Man, I always want to tell you thank you because I know I've said it publicly more than once, but you gave me my first opportunity. And from that, it's been up ever since. So I know I've said this a million times, but thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
You know, just, man, and now here we are kind of taking a trip down memory lane because word got out that you are now deciding to just take a step back. And I know that was not an easy thing to decide.
No.
But when did you know it was time?
Honestly, you know, clearly been contemplating it for a while. Kind of just over the, Easter break, just had some kind of like downtime, some time to think, kind of reflect. And yeah, so I just kind of came up with the decision at that point, like maybe it's just time to kind of like take a break.
It's never an easy thing to walk away from something that you love, that you're very passionate about.
Yeah.
And to see the success that you've had, though, you know, you did something that a lot of coaches can't talk about. You had success with coaching. But the greatest success you had was outside of coaching.
Yeah.
100% graduation rate.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go ahead and call a spade a spade. The longest tenured black woman as a coach in the history of this city.
Really?
Yeah. Think about that for a second.
I never thought about that.
When you look at it from that perspective, how would you summarize your career?
I mean, it's funny. I mean, humbly, always in the moment, I never really thought about the impact that was being made or the impact that I would have on the game of basketball. I know as coaching and coming into contact with multiple players and people, you hope to leave some type of good impression and have some impact, but I didn't know or realize the impact that I had made or that I was having on the game of basketball at all. I never thought about it until, obviously, once you make the decision to step away, then you are told of the accolades and your achievements and the things that you have done. And at that very moment is when I realized, you know, clearly the impact that I must have had on the game of basketball.
The impact in this city, too, is something that you have to give yourself credit for because I know several people, whenever they hear your name, they always speaking highly of you.
Really?
And they're always talking about how much of a positive impact that you've had on them.
I appreciate that.
And and the reason why I feel like things like this are necessary is because when you're in the moment and when you're in the trenches, you don't realize how much of a success that you're having and how much impact you're having on people. But now that you kind of are out and you can recap it, what do you think have been some of your fondest memories coaching?
I mean, clearly that graduation rate is something that, you know, to be proud of. I'm grateful to have been a part of those girls' lives, and every single one of my players that I have coached have graduated high school. But I think it's just the relationship building that I have had the pleasure of having and getting to know the girls that has plays basketball for me, the wide range of them, the different and multiple personalities, the families that I have been able to meet and come in contact with. Winning, right, it helps, right? District championships, that stuff helps. But I think most importantly is the relationships and having a majority of my girls, well, all of my girls graduate from high school.
What got you into coaching to begin with?
It's funny because, I mean, playing basketball, you know, I never thought that I would go into coaching, but I understood it like completely. Even now to this day, when I watch basketball, I see it a lot different. But of course, Holly Simons, which was my basketball coach, who I'm forever grateful for, that I will have to give a lot of appreciation to, kind of took me under her wing, and I remember her asking me to coach with her, not knowing how I would go, but of course I knew I loved basketball and kind of wanted to find a way to give back to the game that has given me so much. So I assisted her, who's been a mentor, and from that day forward, from that very first game, it just took off, to be honest, and I was able to have success early. I won a district championship my second year as a head coach, but
I remember that team. You
Yeah.
had some phenomenal
Yeah,
players. And
absolutely.
I think also about that too, the fact that as a second year coach, you already winning.
Yeah.
You know, now you think, okay, let's continue to build from there.
Yeah.
Let's continue to add from there.
Yeah.
Coaching is not an easy thing.
It's not. It's not. And I knew early on nobody was coming to save me. I've never had a kid transfer into my program to play for me. I had to play with the hand I was dealt, and that's exactly what I did. I got in the gym, I grind, and I worked for everything. We worked for everything. My coaching staff and my players, we worked for everything, every win, every loss that we had. We worked for that. You know, we had to get in the lab and we had to work. We had to teach basketball. I mean, of course, you come in with kids with the potential, but you have to develop that kid. And the majority of my career, that's what I did. Nobody was coming to save me, Chris. I had to get out there and I had to really work for everything that I have as far as my success in basketball.
Which you had a lot of it. You know, I remember times when I was, you know, still covering high school ball, and I've said this more than once, you were the first coach, male or female, to give me my first opportunity. And the interactions that I was able to have with you, of course, I couldn't talk to you as much when the games were going on. That's just not you know, possible. But every time that I had a chance to interview you or one of your players, they always highlighted their coach. They always talked about, you know, Coach Franklin believes in us, you know, she pushes us, etc. When you hear players give you your flowers, like, how does that make you feel?
Oh, it's an amazing feeling. I mean, again, that's what you do it for, right? And that's, again, coming back to the impact question and knowing that, you know, the impact that you have made. When you know from years from now that these players are coming back to you, telling you how much of an impact you had on their lives and how much of a joy it was to play for you and coach for you. And me coach them, I'm sorry.
You've had a lot of great players. You've had a lot of great coaches. What is something that you wish that they can take away from the 20 plus years experience that you had coaching?
Oh, being kind to people. It matters how you treat people, right? That kindness and that humility will get you into places that no degree or certification will. So always treating people kind and treating people the way you want to be treated, 100%.
One of the best things that I can say from the times that I've been around you, not only are you kind and genuine, but you still have that work ethic and that, you know, dog in you.
Oh yeah, I don't think that dog gonna ever leave me. I'm gonna just be honest. And those one of the things that have made me who I am, though, right? That combination of both, of again knowing when and how to treat people accordingly to how they're treating you. I think when you are in this business of coaching, you have to have some type of dog in you, right? You have to go out and be ready to compete night in and night out, regardless of who you're playing up against. So that attitude, obviously, your team is going to reflect their leader's attitude. So most definitely, that dog is going to come out in certain situations for sure.
As it should. You've had a lot of great players. You know, I'm not going to ask who's your favorite because that's just unfair.
Yeah,
but
please don't.
I will ask
My
you
phone
this.
will be blowing
Yes,
up
will.
because I did not select one of them as my favorite.
I understand that, and because I respect the heck out of you, I ain't going to put you on the spot with that one. But there is coming a question that you better be ready for. With all of the great things that you've had, the ups, the downs, the times when you said, I can't wait to get back in the gym, and those times when, let's just be honest, you said, I can't wait to leave the gym. If you could go back and redo anything, would you?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't think I will. I think I would take everything, every win, every loss, every moment, exactly the way that it was, because it definitely have molded and shaped me into the person I am today.
When the last game was over with and then, you know, the time was 0-0, as you're walking out, did you know at that moment, this is it?
No, absolutely not. You gotta understand, like this wasn't an easy decision. Like, so let me be clear, I'm not retiring.
Right.
I'm just kind of like taking a break, just you know, for myself. I've been at it for 22 years straight, and if you know, you know. I'm in a gym all day, every day, summer, 365, 30 days off, back in the gym. So I'm not retiring, I'm just taking a little break. So at that moment when I walked off the floor, absolutely not. It wasn't a moment where I was like, this is my last game. I actually was thinking about the out of bounds play that I should have ran, that I didn't run, that possibly and hopefully would have gave us that dub. That was actually what was on my mind. But leaving the game of basketball at that time after our last game, absolutely not. It wasn't on the thing that was on my mind, no.
If you've been around this game long enough, you know coaches never really sleep because they're constantly up thinking about their
Yeah,
players.
absolutely.
Not even so much in between the lines. They're thinking about them outside of basketball.
Absolutely.
Like, are they going to be set once they graduate from our program? Are they going to be a good human? Are they going to go out here and make good choices? When you see the success of the players that have, you know, become great human beings, that have become great women, mothers and wives, etc. And they, you know, come back and say, Coach, thank you. You know, that's got to make you feel some kind of way.
Absolutely. I mean, it's an amazing feeling. Again, you know, kind of touching back based on that impact question. That's what you do it for. That's what you in it for. When you get your players to come back and you see them being good citizens and them being good people, good parents, you know, their work ethic, you know, regardless of what their success is, whether it's a college degree career or whether it's a regular 9-to-5, whatever route they choose to do, whatever, you know, profession they choose to go in, knowing that you played a part in them understanding how to navigate through life is what's important.
From Rand to East, you've had success. The coaching staff you've had success. The players, you've had success. Everything that you've done, you've had success with. What would you attribute that to?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, probably, obviously my parents, right? My mom and my dad, who early on sacrificed, obviously. It's typical inner city story, inner city kid. You got, you know, your parents who sacrificing and making a way.
Right.
I can remember my mom being at every game, you know, leaving work, mind you, and making sure she was at every game. Even though I didn't physically see her in the stands, I can hear her. So I knew that, you know. Oh, yeah. I knew she was there. So definitely I would say, you know, my parents taught me that kind of resilience, you know, in that sacrifice.
I will never forget my first interaction with you. It was right here in this gym in 2009. It was when you guys would host the basketball league right after school.
Yeah, the Flying High. What was
Flying
the
High, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget going up against guys like Norman Johnson and Tremaine Jenkins, all those phenomenal players. But here I was at 14 holding my own. And I'll never forget, you might not remember this, but I do. I remember once everything was said and done, I was just sitting down and you came up to me and was like, dude, you gonna be a great player because you got something in you that I can't wait to see what happens. I'll never forget that because killers recognize killers.
Oh, come on, man. You
just
know we
being
gonna,
real.
come
Killers
on, man.
recognize
You know we
it.
gonna recognize it. You gonna see that potential. I don't care what gym I'm in or who playing. If they got potential, you definitely recognize the potential. 100%. Male, female, it don't matter. They're a killer, they're a dog, you gonna recognize it.
Plain and simple. To see the kind of stuff that, you know, you were able to even plant in me even in that moment, that made me say thank you. And now here we are years later doing a sit down with somebody who has been well accomplished, but still making sure you come back and tell the person who believed in you, thank you.
Yeah, that's crazy how life works like that, right?
It's a full circle moment.
Yeah, no, for real, that seed being planted, right? And that's the kind of like the circle of life you kind of go through. You plant that seed. That's why it's important to treat people fairly because you never know who you gonna need, right? You never know when you come full circle who you gonna have to interact with.
That part.
And that person gonna remember how you treated them, right? So even if you might have, me saying that to you might have gave you all the confidence in the world to be exactly who you were supposed to be, right? So again, you go back to impactful, and that's how I am with my girls and my team and everybody that I coach. Like, you want to leave that mark.
And you left a tremendous mark. But
did I?
You did, and here's why I say that. Look at when the story got out, the amount of people that were sharing, the amount of people who I know was blowing your phone up, the amount of people who I know were trying to just give you your flowers. That had to make you be like, man, I guess I did do something right.
No, at that moment is when I realized that, you know, I clearly did something right at that moment. I'm appreciative and grateful to everybody who have reached out to me, you know, showing their gratitude and appreciation. All my players, parents, family, appreciate you, 100%.
Biggest question everybody wants to know now, what's next?
I ain't got that far yet. I know I got to cut my grass because the neighborhood I live in, once they cut their grass, you got about 12 minutes to respond. So grass cutting is one of them, what I'm going to do next. But no, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out because it's still surreal to me, right? The fact that, you know, as time go on, like, still contemplating. So I don't know. I mean, I'm anxious to see myself, like how I'm going to respond and how I'm going to react to it, Chris. If I had to answer, I promise you, I would tell you. You would be the first to know. But I really do not know.
There's so much more I wish I could say on camera, but because of our relationship and because of the trust, I'm not gonna put that out there.
No, that's probably
I'm not
why
that kind of
I
person.
appreciate that.
I'm gonna be quiet, but just know I know the story. That's all I'm gonna
full
say.
story,
I
the
know
truth,
what-
right?
Now, I teased this question. Now you're not picking your favorite player. I'm not gonna do that. But I told you there was coming a question that I gotta ask you. Top 5 players that you've ever coached.
Oh, top 5. I gotta go with. I gotta think though, because it's been
22
years.
years,
It's been so many.
and you've had some 1,000-point scorers. You've had some people who have been great on the court, facilitating. Some people that can knock the shots down. But there's no way
now
a
you
coach
talking
can tell.
skill wise,
I'm
person
talking
like
top 5 overall.
attitude, like
Every top
sense
5
of humor.
overall. Got to. Because I know for a fact I had sense of humor when I played. That was just it.
Oh man, top 5 in no order, no specific order.
No specific order.
Obviously, you got to go with Brittany Taylor.
Got to.
You got to go with Brittany Taylor. You got to go with Samira Cologne. You have to go with players. Obviously, Tierra Jones.
Got to. This is the best part about my job.
I need a roster to look at because I mean it goes back some time, though. I can't go back to what 2004.
The fact that you still look the same is a blessing too, though.
Do I?
Yes, you do. Don't make me pull up them pictures. You know black don't crack.
Oh man, okay
So
now.
you got to give me 2 more.
Woo! Got to go with Tanisha Holland too, though. Tanisha Holland was a monster.
Got to 100%.
Dang, this, and please do not be upset with me because y'all are all top 5, really. In some specific category, I got probably a different top 5, but so don't be mad at me if I did not say your name.
So you got to give me 1 more. I can think of quite a few.
I can too, but
Just 1 more.
oh my gosh, I'm thinking. Brianna Thomas.
I agree.
I mean, that girl was, and I don't even think she understood her talent. I don't really think she understood how good she definitely could have been. I mean, and COVID ruined her 1,000 points because she would have been well over 1,000 points scored too. In our history of women's basketball here, she would have scored over 1,000 points, but COVID messed her up. We weren't able to play, obviously, the 22 game season, but yeah,
Right.
I would have to go with Brianna. Yeah, Thomas.
I remember
Thompson.
I remember when I came here and was covering things. I love to see that dynamic between Samir, Delana, and Bree, and just to see the team chemistry that was there. And you know, from the bottom of my heart, again, appreciate you
for sure.
for all of your encouragement
Absolutely.
and helping a young brother get started. And I'm gonna pay it forward the same way you paid it forward
Appreciate
to me.
you.
Before we jump out of here, what message would you like to tell all the people that supported you down through the years?
No, thank you. Thank you. Your support has been everything to me. I appreciate you all for your support. Continue to support women's basketball, especially East women's basketball, regardless if I'm on the sidelines or not. But we need our fans. Women's sports need their fans, so just continue to support.
Thanks, Coach.
For real.